Alright, so we're out here on potholes. The seagulls were extremely loud that day, so I decided I'd narrate this portion of the video. I'm throwing a jerkbait, which is one of my favorites. David's throwing a lipless crankbait. I'm about to hook into one here. Decent little smallmouth. I kind of give it a long pause, and he just kind of smacks it when I jerk it back. Not a huge one by any means, but you know, pound and a half. A lot of fun. This was one of David's first times going out fishing, so for bass anyways, so he had a really good time as well. This was in my old 10-foot low John boat, but he's throwing a lipless, and I'm throwing the Rapala Ripstop, I think is what it's called. Did really well this day on that particular jerkbait for some reason. We catch quite a few. Let him go back to fight another day. We are just on the other side of Goose Island now, and I think this is the one where I actually see the fish come up. Oh, notice I get a little one. That's right, I get a little one. I think the next one is where I see him actually come up and I'm talking to him. So there's a giant. Just a little bit longer than the actual jerkbait that he swung at, but you get all kinds of them out there. It's so much fun. There's a ton of fish loaded up in that place. So this is where David gets his first one of the day. I have no idea how he got that thing to hang on, giving it all that slack, but he catches a nice little smallie, maybe a pound or so. I think that's his first smallmouth bass, so he was pretty excited. Yeah, that's a pretty little one, but he was still pretty excited. And I think this is the same spot here in a minute where I get that one that I watch come up, kind of hovering above the or right below the lure, and he gives it a smack. It's pretty cool. I've gotten to see that a few times where I've seen the fish kind of come up from underneath and just kind of hover there and then take a whack at it. This one I started right before or right after I hooked this one, and this is a pretty good fish actually. I think this is a decent sized largemouth, if memory serves me correct. No, another smallmouth, pound and a half ish, maybe a pound, but fun. So now we move into even closer to they call it Goose Island, I call it Seagull Island, because all I ever see there are seagulls until later in the year when the geese move in. But this one here, I'm just kind of slow twitching it, nothing too major. Just giving it some decent pauses, and I watch this guy come up and just give it a whack, and it's really cool. I actually start talking to the fish once I see him come up. He was just behind the lure, so I fix my rod tip here, and there he is. He's right there, and then pow. And this is a pretty good fish. I had fished the Potholes Open tournament, I think either the week before this or 2 weeks prior to this, and I caught a lot of fish on the jerkbait that week. For those 2 days I think I caught 65, but I didn't catch anything with any size, and I really needed a few of these to get a little closer to contention. But boy, it was fun to go out there and just fun fish, no pressure. Don't have to perform, just go out and catch some fish. But this guy would have definitely helped. Let's see when I get him in. He's a pretty chunky little dude. A couple pounds, 2.5 probably, and they were all taking that jerkbait sideways in the mouth, which was nice. You can see they're really hungry, and then I hooked myself, which is even better. But I could have used a few of those for sure. I'm going to turn around and get a quick pic. So we let that guy go, and we start off here with another fish that I had just hooked off the boat launch down by Potholes Resort. It's one of my favorite places to throw a spinnerbait or a jerkbait during the year. They are just piled in there. There's another, 2.5 pounder that they just weren't there the week before. It's crazy how it happens, but they move in and out, and that's part of the battle, is trying to figure out where they are, what stage they're at, and kind of where they move in and out from. So it's going to be one of my battles this year. This last one that I catch is an absolute toad. Again, a long pause with the jerkbait, and he just crushes it. This fish, when you see it, it's pretty funny. It's really, really skinny, and it's got a giant head. He probably, 2 weeks prior to that, 3 weeks prior to that, she was probably a 7.5 pound fish. I think she was about 27 inches long, almost 28 inches long, whatever it was. But absolutely no meat on her bones at all. I was surprised she put up as much of a fight as she did when I finally saw her. 'Cause she was just gant. Just a big old long fish with no meat. Look at how skinny that is. And the head is just ginormous. But full of eggs, 2 weeks prior to that, whatever it would be. She'd have been huge, at least a 6 pounder. There's just nothing to her. Really beat up. You can see the tail's all beat up, just mashed from the spawn, and that's what happens. So David takes a quick pick here, and then I go ahead and let her go. I was trying to look for my scale to see what she weighed, but my guess is it was probably 3.5 pounds. She just had nothing on her. I mean, you can see right there, right towards her midsection, where her ribs come down. You can see the shadow of her ribs. Just tiny, super skinny. We had a good day, so I hope you all enjoyed watching, and stay tuned for some more. Until then, tight lines, guys. Don't forget to subscribe.